This is one that hurts. Yeah, it really does for the Toronto Raptors as, 1 second to go. I'm pretty much sure it's game, set, match. But they're down 108-105 with a second to play. To the Boston Celtics, a much better effort, a much better fight for the Toronto Raptors today. But unfortunately, the same result as we saw in Boston at the end of that lengthy road trip. And a game where Jason Tatum shoots, 8 of 22 from the field and 1 of 11 from three-point range. You got to find a way to win that game. Now, I'm not going to fault the Raptors. I thought they played hard. Other than that downright piss-poor second quarter, they played a great game. They won the first quarter. They demolished the Celtics in the third quarter right out of the break. And they played them even in the fourth. But the problem is you lost the second quarter by 22. That's the story of the game. We can talk about all the stuff down the stretch and all the small plays down the stretch, but the reason you lost this game is because you forgot how to play in the second. Now, is that a product of the bench at times looking unplayable? Yeah. I thought in the second quarter, guys like Precious Achiuwa looked horrific. And I thought he looked great down the stretch. It's crazy to even think about, right? Because Precious Achiuwa ended the game with 5 points, 9 rebounds, and assists, 2 of 4 from the field, had a couple steals in the game, was only a -2 on the floor. I thought he played a fine game. But let's break this thing down in its entirety first, shall we? So there it is. Final 108-105. Raptors fall to 5-7 now on the season, and Boston goes to 10-2. The first quarter, Raptors making buckets. They had a great start, but all us Raptor fans, right, we saw what happened against Milwaukee. They call the first time out and things fall apart. Well, that didn't quite happen in the early goings of this game. But then Sam Hauser got hot. I think that was in the second quarter he got hot. But in the first quarter, you win it by 6, 32-26. You're feeling great. And in the second frame, you score 17. 17 and a quarter against the Boston Celtics. You just can't do that. Because they will make you pay. And they did. They dropped 39. You almost dropped a 40-piece in the second quarter. And your 6-point lead, which looked great after one, you're down 16 at halftime. And it looks like it's going to be a blowout yet again. At the halftime, it's just what it felt like. Now, credit the Toronto Raptors for that big punch in the third quarter. They come out flying. They bring it down to single digits. At one point, they lead by 1, and you're feeling pretty good about yourselves. Now, you do end up winning the quarter 32-19. You win it by 13. You're only down 3 heading into the fourth. You're feeling fantastic. But you got to keep pushing. So that's what I tweeted out as the game was going on. If you want to check out the Twitter or X, the link is in the description. I do some live tweeting with all the games, obviously, that I can watch and whatnot. So go check that out down below. But I started the fourth quarter. You needed to keep pushing, and they did, right? Every time Boston made a run, got it to 5. Raptors cut it down to 2, and they got it back up to 4. Raptors ended up taking the lead by 1, and it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there were moments in the latter part of the fourth quarter with like 3 or 4 to play where you had chances, because, for example, Jakob Poeltl gets the tip in to put you back up by 2. I think it was like 99-97 at the time. And then you get 2 straight stops. Right? 2 consecutive stops, and you're like, man, you can go up a 2-possession game if you make a shot. They miss both, and they come back with a 3. And it's like, well, there goes that. When you have opportunities, when you get stops against the Celtics, you got to find a way to just penalize them completely. You didn't do that in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. And I got to talk about Darko for a second. I mean, he's been all rainbow and sunshine and good vibes for Darko Rajakovic so far in his young tenure with the Raptors. Why was Scotty Barnes not out there? I'm very curious. Like, he brought him off with I think it was 4 minutes to go, which I scratched my head in itself because I'm like, this is a tight game. There's 4 to play. What's going on here? And with about 2 minutes, 2:30 to go, And the Raptors are still hanging in there. It's still like a 1-point game. Either way, you're right there. Scottie comes to the scorer's table, makes sense. But then he never calls a timeout. And Scottie sits there at the scorer's table for over a minute. And I'm like, you realize he wants to come in the game, and he probably should. When do they bring Scottie in? After Derek White hits the corner three to put them up by 3 with 26 seconds left. I don't get that. I really don't. Scottie has been your best player all year. I get it. Sure, Pascal was cooking today. I'm not saying take Pascal out. Precious, he was good defensively in the second half, sure. But Scottie's your guy, man. He's got to be out there in the dying 4 or 5 minutes of this game. The fact that he wasn't and didn't come in for the last 26 seconds, and then he had to try and force up some crazy shots, was a tough look. Now, I don't know if you guys share that same feeling, but Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong with Drake on the damn broadcast were saying that Scottie Barnes leads the team in points, rebounds, assists per game, like all these numbers. Yet he's not on the floor with a couple minutes to go in like a 1-point game. I don't get it. And people are going to say that, this guy was having a good game. Gary Trent, I think, closed the game. Well, love Gary, and he started today, sure. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 of 9 shooting, was 3 of 5 from 3. They're good numbers. Would I prefer Scottie on the floor? Yeah, probably, albeit you want the shooting. So take out Precious. Why is they closing the game with Precious? Like, how many times have you seen bench players have a good game, but close games with them? What was the difference today? Why is Precious finishing the game over Scottie Barnes? I know he didn't finish the game, but with like 20-odd seconds left. It just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. Would it have changed anything? We'll never know. But it was still painful to watch as we're going up and down the floor, and I'm seeing Scottie trying to direct traffic from the scorer's table, and I'm like, you should be on the court. I don't know what's happening. All right, let's get to these team stats. So I had to do that little bit of a rant there, but again, you guys can disagree, and that's cool. But that's what I was feeling watching those final few minutes and watching Scottie just try and point people around. All right, both teams shot 42% or 40. No, we shot 48% from the field. They shot 46% from the field. You shot 36% from 3. They shot 46% from 3. And the problem is you missed 5 free throws. Shout out Jakob Poeltl. You missed that one late. What else? Who else missed free throws? Boucher missed 1. Precious missed 1. Gary missed 1. Scottie missed 1. So it's kind of just scattered everywhere, really. But you were 9 of 14, 64%. It's not good enough. Now, does that change the game? Sure, if you look at it in the numbers and you lost by 3 and it's a 5-point differential, sure. But in the end, let's go find the other numbers. You got out rebounded by 3 on the offensive glass by 3. Turnovers, you had 13 turnovers, but they dominated the second chance points. So 10-4 on the offensive glass or on the second chance points. Points in the paint, you dominated that by 14, 54-40. Great stuff. Everything else was fairly even. You lost by 3 to the Celtics. Are they on a back-to-back or something? Let me just make sure. No, they were on a back-to-back. And the Raptors didn't have OG today. Take that in. Your best on-ball one-on-one defender, you don't have. So I credit the Raptors for their effort and their pushback and their fight, albeit it doesn't change the point that you're now 5-7. But I want to preface this to you guys. How do you actually feel about this Raptors team? And I want to put that out there because sure, they're 5-7 and it ain't a sexy record. You've played Boston twice, Milwaukee twice, Philly twice. So 6 of your 12 games, half of them have been against Milwaukee, Boston, or Philly. That's nuts. So with 5-7, I'll bet you've only won 1 of those games against those teams. You're 1-5 against those guys. But you played, who else did you play? You played Dallas, and then really nobody else. Well, I guess Minnesota, right? Because they're playing well. They're 8-3. Yeah, so you beat them on opening night. So how do you feel about this 5-7 record for the Raptors? You're getting all these really, really tough games out of the way. And real quick look at the schedule. You got the Pistons, Magic, who are playing inspired basketball, but they're 6-5. They're a beatable team. So you have Pistons, Magic, Pacers, and Bulls the next 4 games. How are the Pacers? They're 7-4. They're playing inspired ball. The Bulls look like they're selling off. They're at 4-8. Look, this is an opportunity to win some games. But can the Raptors go out there and do it? We will have to wait and see. We really will. Tough game tonight. Tough finish. But inspiring efforts? I don't know. Let's go to the player stats quickly. Jakob Poeltl, 11 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 5 of 5 from the field with 1 of 2 from the line. Had a steal in the game. He still doesn't look right to me. I don't know what it is. Dennis Schroeder, great game. 23, 7, and 6. 9 of 19 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3. He was feeling good about himself. Pascal Siakam, probably the best player in this game today. Efficient, getting in the paint, being a bully ball, backing down Jason Tatum and shooting over top of him. Just fantastic stuff. 23, 6, and 5. 11 of 16 from the field. 1 of 1 from the free throw line. Only took 1 3, but missed it. But that's fine. Took 15 shots inside the arc and made 11 of them. Not bad. Not bad at all. And in foul trouble, that's the only reason he didn't play most of the game, right? Had 5 fouls, and one of those, my God, that first quarter one against Kristaps Porzingis where he flops like crazy, and they even review it and say it's a foul. I'm like, you guys are blinder than a doorknob. Is that even the phrase? I don't know. I just made it up then. And Pascal, when he was on the floor, was a plus 17. It shows you how important he was, and he only played 29 minutes, unfortunately. Scotty Barnes played 32 minutes, should have played about 35, unfortunately did not. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 13, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 of 6 from distance, -3 on the floor. Should have closed. That's all I got to say. Gary, we already talked about his numbers. Precious Chua, 5, 9, and 1, 2 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, and my God, him shooting 3 just makes me want to puke. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 steals in the game was a -2. In the bench of Malachi Flynn, Chris Boucher, Grady Dick, yeah, it was not pretty. They had a good point that start of the fourth quarter. They kind of held the fort a little bit, but -15 for Malachi, -10 for Chris Boucher, and -10 for Grady Dick. And Jalen McDaniels, 4 points and a -8 in a matter of 6 minutes. That was obviously in the second quarter where it was downright abysmal. And I'm going to leave it at that. I said my piece. I'm proud of the fight, the effort. Unfortunately, you lost. And why was Scotty not out there with the final few minutes? That's all I got to say. All right, so next up for the Toronto Raptors is they take on the Detroit Pistons at 4 o'clock at Scotiabank Arena on Sunday afternoon. So hopefully get back in the win column there. They're 2-10, and they've lost 9 consecutive games. Win a damn ball game. All right? None of this Wizards stuff going down 20-something at the half. Stop it. Win the damn game. Period. All right, so you know what, guys? That's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and not the result today, hit that like button. I do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video. Thoughts on this loss. Twitter, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, all that stuff is down below. So follow up there if you're not done so already. A quick thing. I want to fire at you guys at the end of this video, and I want to start doing it at the beginning, but I always forget. TikTok-wise, I'd love to do lives on there for you guys. However, you need to have 1,000 followers on there to do so. So if you want to get lives, get going, people. I'd love to see you on there. And then we can do IG or TikTok lives while games are going on, which would be a lot of fun. But the links are down there for that. And I'll talk to you guys Leafs edition on Sunday, I guess early afternoon, as they take on the Minnesota Wild in Sweden against the, in Stockholm, Sweden against the Minnesota Wild. 8 a.m. puck drop there. And as for the Raptors, they're back in action like we talked about on Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. tip-off. Raptors, Pistons. You must win that game. Period. That's all there is to it. Win a damn game. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and not this painful result. We'll talk to you guys then.